the Androscoggin River Valley, the people, the places, the events, the history, all that makes up the vibrant story of the towns of the Androscoggin River Valley from Lewiston, Auburn through Mexico, Rumford, and Bethel to New Hampshire.
Hello and welcome to the March 2018 edition of Today River Valley. Today River Valley is the video news feature program for the towns of the Androscoggin Valley in western Maine. My name is Phil Blampede. I'm the host and producer of the program. Well, we've seen a lot of technological change in the last couple of decades. It wasn't that long ago when everybody had a landline telephone in their house. Now most people have cell phones, and most of those cell phones are smartphones. There could be a similar technological change coming in the automobile industry. For over a century, the gasoline-powered car has been the car of choice in the United States. Electric vehicles haven't been very successful because the range has been very poor. Now there are new kinds of vehicles that will go 200 to 300 miles on a charge, made by brands including Chevrolet and Tesla.
It may very well be that in the near future there will be as many electric vehicles on the road as there are gas vehicles, perhaps even more.
Evidence of this possible revolution in the automobile can be seen all over western Maine as charging stations are being set up in anticipation of all the electric vehicles that are expected to be on the road in the next couple of years. We're going to be looking at that after a few messages from local businesses.
Today River Valley is sponsored by the Sudbury Inn, lodging, fine dining, and a lively pub right on Main Street in Bethel, Maine.
This winter you owe yourself a getaway to a charming village like Bethel, Maine, and a stay in an historic inn like the Sudbury Inn, right in the heart of the village of Bethel, where the table is set and waiting for you, and the bed is quilted and pillowed and beckoning you for a good night's sleep in the country air. Whether you've come for a vigorous few days at the area's world-renowned ski areas or a quiet weekend, the Sudbury Inn will welcome you back at the end of the day with fine dining in its main dining room or pub fare and live music in its popular Suds Pub downstairs. It may be located in a small village, but the Sudbury Inn strives to offer world-class cuisine. The menu changes with the seasons, yet always offers three popular classics: broiled seafood sampler, roasted duck, and beef tornadoes. And yes, the inn is affordable. Guests are surprised to find how reasonable room rates are, even though a generous kitchen-cooked full breakfast is included. Besides individual rooms, the inn also offers rustic, apartment-sized, pet-friendly suites for families or large groups. The walkable village lies just outside the doors of the inn, and ski areas are a short drive away. Make this winter a memorable one with a stay this season at the Sudbury Inn, which, as the magazine Bon Appetit put it, is a perfect way to end a day in Bethel. There is a remarkable one-of-a-kind store these days in Bryant Pond, Maine, selling one-of-a-kind items. Goddess Robes is a showroom of exquisite, custom-tailored and designed robes made of silks, satins, washable silks, brocades, and cottons. Goddess Robes are designed for formal occasions or personal relaxation and make getting dressed for even the most elegant occasions a matter of only slipping an elegant robe over your shoulders. Created for the women who know who they are, what they want, and make no apology for either. Goddess Robes on Route 26 in Bryant Pond. For new construction or renovations, or to tighten up that basement, there are few better investments than foam insulation. And in western Maine, it's Dixfield Foam Insulation. Foam insulation is the best insulation on the market. It does not sag or settle like other insulation, and it maintains its R value for decades. That means that in the long run, the savings on heating and cooling costs will far exceed the cost of installing it in the first place. With foam insulation, there's no air leakage. It creates its own vapor barrier, and it's resistant to moisture. The rigidity of the product even serves to add to the structural integrity of the framing of the building. Foam insulation is ideal for new construction or renovations where the studs are going to be exposed, but it's also great for tightening up basements in any building. Have a difficult-to-seal rock wall foundation or a leaky, drafty basement? Seal it with foam insulation and keep air and water out. Dixfield Foam Insulation offers free, no-obligation estimates.
I'm Tim with Dixfield Foam Insulation. Give us a call. We'll give you a free estimate.
Call 207-418-9394 or 207-441-3630 for a no-obligation consultation. And check our Facebook page for more information.
Excuse me, sir. there, are you getting a little shaggy around the ears but can't find time for a haircut? Well, now you can. At Lisa's Barbershop at 178 Main Street in Mexico, owner Lisa Shardlow specializes in quick haircuts. No appointment is necessary and there's rarely a wait. At Lisa's, the motto is cut and go.
With St. Patrick's Day coming up this month, you find the color green in places it doesn't really belong. Beer, coffee, donuts, you name it. Some people even dye their hair green. Well, not at Lisa's. Here you can get a good, quick, old-fashioned haircut without the frills and without the green.
Lisa's open Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 9 to noon.
Lisa's, good haircuts, not green haircuts.
Hi, this is Roger Whitehouse of Riverside Realty in Mexico, Maine, and you're watching Today River Valley, the video news feature program of the Androscoggin Valley in western Maine.
These cars generally are very reliable in terms of the performance. You know, the only time you'll run into an issue, I suppose, is if you were to drive a car and, you know, so far that the battery is used up, but that's true of a gas car too.
Mainers have been as much in love with gas-guzzling motor vehicles as other Americans, but it looks like that's about to change. A cheaper, more reliable form of motor vehicle is taking hold in western Maine and elsewhere, and a decade from now, most of the viewers of this program will either own one or know somebody who does. Welcome to the era of the electric vehicle.
So this is actually the second generation all-battery electric model called the Chevy Bolt with a B.
Barry Woods, who works for the solar energy firm Revision Energy, is one of Maine's leading advocates for electric vehicles.
So this is a 60 kilowatt hour all-electric Chevy product, which gets probably the best range of any plug-in electric vehicle outside of Tesla right now, and it's priced to sell at about $30,000, which is the average price of a new car in the United States. So it's a pretty serious effort by GM to help redefine, you know, consumer interest in plug-in electric vehicles, and I've been driving it since April. It's been a great car.
I believe that the electric vehicle industry is coming because the federal government has mandated near 45 or 50 miles to the gallon, and that is going to be in the equation. Is they're going to have hybrids and electric vehicles to help get to that mileage. So I believe they're coming.
The push is on to adopt electric vehicles all over the world, with most nations offering tax credits or outright grants to support the purchase of electric vehicles. In the United States, buyers of new electric vehicles can take a generous credit on their income taxes. Not many car owners have yet taken advantage of this, but nonetheless, western Maine is more ready than most areas when they finally do.
This area turns out to have more charging infrastructure per capita than anywhere else in Maine.
Electric vehicle charging units are set up and ready to go all over western Maine, including at Stony Brook Recreation in Hanover, Sunday River Ski Resort in Newry, Mount Abrams Ski Resort in Greenwood, the South Paris Police Station, the Norway Town parking lot, and the Oxford Hill Regional High School, among other sites. And while those who own gas cars certainly don't get free gas, those who have been willing to buy an electric car find that one reward is that they can charge up at these places for free.
So it's all of our charging stations that we are putting in here and all over the region are all open to, available to all the public.
And they're free.
And they're free. To come up with a charger that you could actually swipe a credit card and you'd have to pay for the charging, it's quite expensive to set up that infrastructure, and the business model's just not there. It doesn't really pay for itself. So some people will put out, like the town of Casco has a donation little can out there by their charger, and they collect some money that way. But no, for the level 2 charging, it typically is free. And like at the high school, we've put this big solar installation there to offset all the cost of the electricity, and the high school actually banks some power.
Scott Flawn is behind the installation of many of these electric vehicle chargers. As executive director of the nonprofit Center for an Ecology-Based Economy in Norway, he has received grant money for the chargers in an attempt to encourage more people to buy electric vehicles. Sites that receive a charger have to agree to pay for the power, but the point is to put the chargers where tourists and others will spend time and patronize local businesses.
Part of our site selection rubric is places that have lots of tourists, that are good tourist destinations. that would help stimulate the local economy. So we're looking at downtown areas, we're looking at recreational areas, places where people can park for an hour or two, get out, have lunch, go to the bookstore, buy some books, or just do some shopping. So yeah, I think this area will become more of a tourist destination for EV drivers because of our infrastructure that we're going to have here. Well, we've had a public charger here in Norway for the last 3 years, so we have pretty good data there, and the electric bill typically hasn't been much more than about $30 a month.
People who are quite comfortable with gas-powered vehicles may wonder about the sudden push to convert to electric. Globally, the reason is simple. Even though there is a propaganda effort to cover it up, the fact is, whether politicians and coal miners like it or not, civilization, and even human life itself, is threatened by disastrous climate changes caused in part by the burning of fossil fuels. Gas, oil, and diesel burned in vehicles are the source of about a third of the problem. If all of the vehicles in the world were converted to electric power derived from sources other than petroleum, the coming disaster could be reduced or even avoided. But even people who aren't deceived by propaganda don't often make personal choices based on global realities. The technology has to be convenient and effective.
I think they need to expand the perimeters of how far they're going, just the battery. I think that makes a big difference.
I think the first issue is going to be, will the car's range meet your needs for just day-to-day travel? Because we obviously all rely on our vehicles in our personal and professional life. I think the answer to that increasingly is yes, especially as charging infrastructure increases.
There is unfortunately lots of resistance still out there. The majority is the range or the time to charge. Those are the two biggest points of resistance. There are some ideological issues. A lot of people they resist the adaptation because they like what they know.
There is a perception, too, that electric vehicles aren't that powerful and might be less safe than a gas-powered car in heavy traffic. Supporters deny this.
Lots of acceleration to pull out into traffic. I feel safer in that Leaf than I do in my gas car, really. And they're very smooth. The driving experience is very high quality compared to what people would imagine.
Price is another question. Buyers can find a brand new electric vehicle at the full new car price. But what about used models? Barry Woods says they can be found.
The used market for a lot of these battery electrics is really good. You can pick up a used Nissan Leaf, for $9,000, and it has only 20 to 30,000 miles already on it. If you're on a fixed income and you don't use the car a huge amount, the used cars are really economical. And I think really what it comes down to is just education and exposure to the technology. Do you want a car that drives better? Do you want a car that will save you a tremendous amount of money in terms of operational and fuel costs? Do you want a car that does not emit any type of greenhouse gas if you're fueling it with solar or other types of clean energy alternatives? Do you want a car that puts to the end, the export of money out of the region for, the cost of oil and gasoline? Because electricity is typically it's regional, often it's local on your roof, so the money stays here. So there's a variety of social, environmental, and economic elements to this question that make the electric vehicle a much more superior technology. And I mean, starting with a better driving experience and moving up the ladder to other higher values.
As good citizens of our communities and our planet, I think we have to think about the externalities of what we do. And driving a gas-powered vehicle has a lot of impact on the environment, has impact on our local environment, our downtowns, with the air we breathe and the CO2 emissions that we're putting into the environment, which we're not paying the true cost of when we buy gasoline. So if those costs are ever factored in, we're going to see electric, renewable energy powered electric vehicles be like way cheaper.
In our next segment, we'll look at how the design of the new electric vehicles has reduced the need for maintenance to such an extent that many car mechanics might be out of a job. Well, it may be March, but if there's still snow on the ground, there's still skiing at Carter's Cross Country Ski Centers in Bethel and Oxford, Maine. Check the website, cartersxcski.com, for the daily conditions report. And don't miss the huge clearance sale of ski equipment and apparel at the Bethel location, with savings of 10 to 40% on one of the area's best selections of quality cross-country gear and clothing. Carter's Cross Country Ski Centers in Bethel and Oxford, Maine. Good Karma Cafe and Health Food is becoming the place to go for lunch in Rumford, and everyone has their favorite from the menu.
Hi, my name is Cindy. I'm the baker here at Good Karma, and my favorite sandwich is the chicken salad BLT. The chicken salad BLT is our own all-white meat chicken salad made here at Good Karma on a bed of spring mix with tomato and bacon, and sometimes I put a little avocado on there if I do an add avocado.
Good Karma Cafe and Health Foods, open Monday through Saturday.
And I usually have mine on a spinach wrap.
Year after year, residents of the River Valley have been able to count on Murphy's Accounting Services for tax preparation and accounting services. In business for over 30 years, Murphy's is ready to help with your return. And don't worry if you're a little bit late this year, we can easily file an extension for you. William and Deborah invite you to call for an appointment or use our easy drop-off service at Crescent Avenue, just off Route 2 in Rumford. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 8, Saturday until 4. At the top of Falls Hill in Rumford, look for the newest repair place in town, E&B Auto and Bike Repair in the former Jake's Garage. With easy access off Route 2 on Prospect Avenue, E&B specializes in custom exhaust and engine rebuilds, in addition to all the other maintenance and repair and parts your car, truck, or motorcycle might need. Featuring Napa parts, E&B has batteries for everything from your car to your snowmobile. With friendly service and reasonable prices, E&B is offering an additional 10% off to any customer who mentions this ad. Remember, mention this ad. E&B Auto and Bike Repair, open Monday through Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., but closed from noon to 1 for lunch. By this time every winter, many stores are running out of important supplies like salt, shovels, even ice scrapers. Not Puya Lumber. At Puya Lumber, the policy is to make sure they keep a full stock all winter long of the supplies you need, from shovels to scoops to salt to wood pellets. The pellets are Maine Woods brand. That's their name and that's their description because they're made right here in Maine. So if the snowplow runs over your scoop or if your salt gets low, you know where to go. Puya Lumber, 369 River Road, Route 2 in Mexico, Maine. Free delivery on orders over $50.
Hi, I'm Roger Whitehouse, owner and designated broker of Riverside Realty right here in Mexico, Maine. Brr, it is cold out here, yet spring is in the air. And this is our busiest time of the year for real estate. Why don't you get a head start, stop by Riverside Realty and let us guide you through the process of purchasing our new home or maybe investing in the area. Let's just take a look at a few of our listings.
This is MLS 1264184, a beautiful country garrison on a great dead-end road location in a quiet neighborhood. 4 bedrooms, large open kitchen and dining, lots of sunlight. The living room has a wood-burning fireplace, there are 2.5 baths, lots of closets, a partially finished basement, and a family room. The baseboard hot water heating system is supplemented by a rice coal stove. It has a 2-car garage with storage overhead, a central vacuum system, a storage shed, a deck, and it's very well maintained. Listed at $224,000. This is MLS 1312329, an 1870s 7-room, 3-bedroom colonial with an attached 2-car garage and a finished family room above and a detached 1-car garage. It's a very well-maintained home on a lot with nice views. Listed at $169,278.
Whether you're considering buying or selling real estate, call Riverside Realty at 369-0100. Hope to see you soon.
Hey, it's March, and here at Mountain Valley Variety, we're getting ready to set you up for all the times you want to invite people over, whether to watch the Maine High School Basketball Championships or to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We can cater small groups to large groups with our salad and sandwich fixings platters, to our ready-made finger rolls, to our world-famous coleslaw. And be sure you have everyone's favorite beer on hand, because whatever the brand they prefer, we've got it in our beer cave, the largest in the area. What we don't have, we can order for you. And we're there when you need us, open from 4 a.m. to 11 p.m. Mountain Valley Variety at the corner of Lincoln Avenue and Hancock Street, also known as Route 2 in Rumford, Maine.
Come on down!
come to Mountain Valley Variety and see us all.
Sportoma is Western Maine's outdoor retail specialist. If you're skiing the Western Mountains this winter, Sportoma on Route 2, Mayville Road in Bethel should be your first stop for quality ski tuning, custom ski boot fitting, and all the equipment and accessories you'll need. And ask about our gift certificate special. Get 10% off by mentioning this ad. That's right, pay $9 and get a $10 gift certificate. Just mention this ad. Sportoma, open 7 days. In the last segment, we looked at the emergence of electric vehicles in Maine and at the fact that Western Maine has a growing network of the charging stations electric vehicles need to keep their batteries full. The number of actual electric vehicles remains low, but as the public learns about how practical it can be to own and run an electrical vehicle, that may change. One of the biggest selling points is that electric vehicles require only a fraction of the repairs and maintenance that gas-powered cars do.
It doesn't have any oil fluid change, it doesn't have any exhaust system, doesn't have any obvious cooling system for the combustion, like a combustion engine with all of the friction and heat that it generates. Those are probably the primary ones. The electric drive is probably the size of a basketball. I mean, it's not a very big component. And then the battery, it's basically the battery, a controller to regulate the amperage, and the electric drive mechanism. So it's a pretty simple mechanical device. In some ways it's not all that different from an electric fan, which you've had in your bedroom for the last 25 years.
The most reliable vehicles you can buy. I own two. I don't even own a gas-powered car anymore. My wife and I each drive to work electric. Half the reason for that is that we like not having to ever worry about any drivetrain maintenance ever, like whatsoever. There's no oil changes, no tune-ups. There's literally no drivetrain maintenance. The only maintenance we have is alignments, tire rotations, and windshield washer fluid.
Imagine a vehicle that never needs a new muffler. It never needs an oil change. There are no belts to wear out. There's no need to add antifreeze or change the spark plugs. Well, that's the electric vehicle. The federal government estimated a decade ago that there would be about 1 million on the road right now. That hasn't worked out. In fact, there are only about half of that. The big problem has been that until now, the batteries ran for an average of only about 100 miles before needing to be recharged. And recharging required being plugged in for several hours. Now, that is changing. With the new Tesla and Chevrolet electric cars, the range is multiplied to well over 200 miles. This could be the tipping point at which the electric car goes from being a rare oddity to the vehicle that everyone clamors for.
A commuter car back and forth to work, 20, 30 miles one way, absolutely, because you can run on your batteries, go home, charge it, and you would use no gasoline whatsoever. And the expense alone of what you'd save just in the fuel would make the difference up in what you were spending originally to get the vehicle.
Electric vehicles, the equivalent cost would be like driving a car that gets 80 to 100 miles per gallon. So the cost to drive is quite cheap.
With so much less maintenance, the question then becomes to what extent car mechanics can adapt to the new technology, and to what extent they will in fact be put out of work.
I would say lube technicians would probably see a decline in employment because there are no lubrication points in an electric vehicle's motor or drivetrain. Very rarely is there anything for a lube technician to do on an electric vehicle. However, a actual full service technician for brakes and chassis will still have a place. Eventually the brakes do wear out on an electric vehicle, although it is significantly longer than your standard vehicle due to regenerative braking. But we have done them here. We've replaced Nissan Leaf brake pads and stuff before. And so The answer is that some mechanics, especially the ones that stay competent with their electrical diagnosis skills, will be needed in the future, but lube and oil techs are probably going to see a decrease, in my opinion.
Okay, so it's an electrical vehicle. What happens if it rains? Well, not much. Here's an electrical vehicle going through a car wash without a problem.
And Teslas have been known to float in floods and be just fine afterwards.
Mixed emotions on coming down the road, but they're coming and they're coming fast. And I believe that, you know, you're going to see quite a bit more of them in the near future.
Scott's Recreation is a Maine RV and camper dealership with locations in Turner and Manchester, Maine. Our showroom is stocked with the newest Alpine, Big Country, Elk Ridge, Mission Trailers, and Snow Pro Trailers models. Each camper dealership has a full sales, service, and parts department with friendly and experienced staff. Visit or call us Monday through Saturday for all your RV needs. And don't forget to look for us at the Augusta RV Show, March 16th through the 19th at the Augusta Civic Center.
Bill never did like cell phones that much.
I never did like cell phones that much.
Bill even had nightmares about being chased by giant cell phones. But then one day he happened to stop into the wireless zone in Mexico, Maine, just to get out of the rain. Before he knew it, he was dazzled by the variety of phones, from Apple to Motorola to Samsung. He wanted to know more, but didn't want to sound dumb, asking silly questions.
Do you have any questions?
Well, I don't really want to sound silly.
Don't worry. There are no silly questions at the Verizon Wireless Zone in Mexico, Maine.
So it was, he found a phone and a service plan that left him saying something he never thought he'd see.
You know, I do like cell phones.
Remember, at the Verizon Wireless Store in Mexico, we're always striving to be your cell phone provider of choice.
At Dan's Automotive, you'll find reliable used cars in the $3,000 to $8,000 range. You'll get more car for less money. Here's a great example of what you'll find at Dan's Automotive. Warning, this will probably be sold by the time you see this ad, but if you get lucky, you may still have a chance at this very clean Ford Ranger Super Cab with 4-wheel drive and 4/6 automatic transmission. Just barely over 100,000 miles. Book value $8,000, offered here at Dan's for $69.95.
We bought our car at Dan's, and we're glad we did.
Dan's Automotive Repair and Sales, Crescent Avenue, Rumford. The place is called Northern Lights Hearth and Sports, and it's right on the main road at 639 Wilton Road. That's Route 2 in Farmington. Let's take a look at the sports part of Northern Lights Hearth and Sports. And this winter, it's a selection of gear to get you out and enjoying the snow, including a great selection of downhill and cross-country skis, snowshoes, and fat tire snow bikes by Salsa and Frames. Clothing, helmets, gloves, and hats and accessories, they've got them. Northern Lights open Monday through Saturday.
Thinking about a new career? Get on the right road with tractor trailer and school bus driver training at the Region 9 truck driving program right here in Mexico, Maine.
Hi, my name is Ed Naples. I work here at Region 9, and I'd like to give you some thoughts about our truck driver training program.
Class A drivers are in demand, whether you're hauling chips or whether you're going over the road cross country. The jobs are there. If you're thinking about getting your Class B license, the local towns will be looking for drivers for the winter months and the ski areas for plowing. So if you're interested in doing that, give us a call. The opportunity is there for driving school buses in the area. A lot of people are retiring.
So if you like driving, you drive a standard shift, pass a physical and drug test, this could be an opportunity for a career change for you. A lot of people take the course and a lot of people get jobs. We've been doing this program for almost 30 years and have a lot of good success stories. So I invite you to give me a call at 369-9058 and find out more information and sign up for the next class.
The Jolly Drayman Pub and the Briarley Inn, a gracious inn in Bethel, Maine, with an authentic British pub featuring classic pub fare.
This is Helena at the Jolly Drayman Briarley Inn. Stop by, come to see us. Looking forward to your visit.
After dinner, indulge yourself with a stay in one of the comfortable rooms upstairs in the Briarley Inn, featuring cuddly blankets, down feather pillows, soft linens, fluffy towels, and casual rustic decor. The Jolly Drayman, the authentic British pub in Bethel, Maine, located in the Briarley Inn.
Today River Valley is sponsored by the Sudbury Inn, lodging, fine dining, and a lively pub right on Main Street in Bethel, Maine.
That's it for the March 2018 edition of Today River Valley. You can find this edition and links to previous editions at the website todayrivervalley.com. Well, spring is coming this month, or so they say. I guess we'll see. See you next month.